Hey guys, Mango 7 Roll here. How are we doing today? Today is going to be kind of a touchy subject. I think one a lot of us are really frustrated with. I want to talk about Summoners War Arena. The meta, maybe ways we can remedy it, that sort of thing. Obviously, this is all going to be theoretical. Comtuous, I'm sure, knows more than me, but I've had some experiences with other games that I think do things better than Summoner's War in this regard. So I'm going to go over some points here and there about what I think can be done and what I think the result would be. So first, I want to go over the main issue, and disclaimer, I am a Guardian 1 player. This might be different for Guardian 2 or Guardian 3 or whatever, but this is the bracket I think a lot of people aim for is the Guardian 1/C3 barrier. So I think it's really, really relevant because that's where so many people are aiming for. And the first issue I have is that midweek arena is just not important whatsoever. It means nothing. What I do every week is I tank my ranking down to about 30,000 or so. And I do that until about Friday or Saturday, and then I switched to like a bait AD. I just put something that people are going to hit that I know my runes are going to get successfuls on. And that puts me at about C3 to G1 range by Sunday night when it matters. The unfortunate part about this is, and why it's a real problem, is that PvP is supposed to be fun, I think, anyway. Arena's fun, but unfortunately the only thing that matters is the last 30 minutes. Like, literally, that's all that matters. You can do almost whatever you want for the rest of the week. And another thing I really want to focus on, and it's also due to the above point, is that everything is compacted into a very, very small time frame. And the goal is to rush as fast as you can and not get hit. Almost everybody I found can beat everybody else in the Guardian 1 range. It's just a matter of how fast you can clear them. This means, again, in the Guardian 1 or Guardian 2 range, it's almost entirely dependent on how scary your AD is instead of the runes you have on your AD. I've tested this for the last 2 months or so. Some of you might have seen the video, but I've had about a 50% chance to reach Guardian 1 with 0 runes on my AD for the last 30 minutes. Like, literally 0. And I don't think this should be a thing. I don't think you should be able to. It doesn't matter how scary your monsters. I don't think you should be able to take off your runes for the 30 minutes that matter and still make it into Guardian. I feel like if I had a much better range of monsters, I would even get higher. So that's a real big problem in my eyes. Especially since I've been playing this game since near the beginning, and I feel like the game has always been, and everybody has always said, runes are more important than monsters. Monsters are nice, sure, you'll get a little bit of edge there, but runes are entirely what matters. And it really feels like it's the opposite now, and I don't think that's a good direction to go to. And another main issue is that you can see who you're hitting, and there's no real penalty for skipping someone or cherry picking. This really emphasizes the last point in terms that having the scary defense is really what matters. Because if you have a scary defense, people will just cherry pick and skip you, right? If you were forced to hit somebody on a list, they would in turn be forced to have decent quality runes to stay in that ranking, otherwise they wouldn't be in that ranking. This also allows stuff like collusion to happen, but I don't want to get into that or whether it's right or that sort of thing. The general thing is you shouldn't be able to cherry pick which ADs you attack, and especially without any sort of really real problem, you know? Like, you can just hit refresh for 10 gems or just restart your app that a lot of people do. I think it's also good not to be able to see people's names and or guilds. I think that's another big problem too. So I want to go over some solutions. They're not all perfect and they won't all work, but the general idea is I think there's a better system than what's currently out there. I think a lot of us had RTA announced, we read about it, and we were so excited, and we thought, wow, this is finally going to fix the meta in Arena, and it's finally going to be fun, and we're going to have a blast. And we all know how well that turned out. It didn't seem to be as fun as it was. It found out to be a little annoying, if not more meta-intensive than regular Arena. So that was really unfortunate is all I'm getting at. I was really excited about that. And I think that was Comtuous's Band-Aid fix for it too, and I think it failed in that regard. So I play a lot of other mobile gacha games, and I I find a lot of them do things better than Summoner's War. In general, Summoner's War does things 99% better than every other game, but I feel like arena matchmaking is one where they're really, really, really struggling, and that's unfortunate because that's such a big part of the game. So some ideas I have, and I'll show you some gameplay of it. So bear with me on that one. Some ideas I have taken from other games. The first thing I think, and most of these are going towards the problem, the first thing that needs to be fixed is to have some kind of reward for midweek participation. It doesn't make sense that Arena literally only matters for 30 minutes of the week, and that's it. That just doesn't make sense to me. There's no reason to do that. And it's especially really hard to fix, unfortunately, with the current Arena format, with unlimited wings specifically. A lot of other mobile games limit the amount of wings you get, so your placement is dependent on how you do in those amount of wings. I don't know if Summoner wants to go that route, but I don't think they can at this point. Some ideas I have is there could be a reward at the end of every day based on your placing. That's a really simple one, really easy one. That'll keep people playing throughout the week. Unfortunately, it would mean that there would be a rush hour every day, which isn't cool, but you could also ignore it if it wasn't the biggest reward. And I don't think it should be the biggest reward. They should just be little small bonuses that keep people going. And then the main thing I think there should be is some ratio or some sort of reward for your defense. Like, you should get rewarded for how your defense does overall. This could be a weekly reward or a daily reward, probably weekly. That's like a ratio between what rank you are, the amount you get hit, and the amount of defense successfuls you have. There's like limited things you can do for weekly rewards. These are just two ideas. And again, the rewards don't have to be good. They just have to be something. It's all that matters. I don't care if you give us 5 crystals. That's enough for people to do it in this game. So, and again, this also ties into the problem that the last 30 minutes are just such a big issue, I think, and there's no real solution for it with the way we're matchmaking right now. Outside of limiting people for wings, which I don't think we can do. So I want to go over a couple games. One I played for quite a while is called 7 Nights. It's not the best game in the world, but I had a blast with it. The way the arena works in that game is you literally go to arena, you hit battle, and you're placed against a random team around your ranking. You choose your team before you hit battle, and you're placed against a random team around your ranking. So this does stuff like create a different meta, like an evolving meta, and not a stagnant one that we have here. And this means people can make defenses that are targeted for certain things. Like they're always ended up being like a rock, paper, scissors sort of thing with 7 Nights. For example, here you could make something like Illusionable defense that dies to Lucian but is really good against other things. You could make something that is super strong against Lucian but dies to other things. And then you could make something else that's sort of a bruiser that kind of has a good chance to get it against everything. And this is sort of what evolved with 7 Nights. You sort of picked a team and went from there. And depending on who you were paired against and what the current attacking thing was at the time, your defense would do better or worse. And I think that's really important. You could build so many different teams, and they were always relevant because you could target specific teams if you really wanted to. You could make your defense really strong against certain things and really weak against other things because you don't know what's going to hit you and they don't know what they're going to hit. And I think that's the most important part about improving Summoner's War Arena is kind of just filling that, making you not able to see what you're going to hit. I think that's just so important. So yeah, the next game is Fire Emblem Mobile, a game that just came out, and I really like how they're doing things somewhat. I think they're screwing up a lot of things, and I'm not going to get into that part, but I want to get into how things are placed for that. And I'm going to switch to Fire Emblem on my screen here, and we'll show you exactly how that works. So we're on the Fire Emblem here. This is the arena screen, and again, a lot of this will be unfamiliar to you unless you've played the game, but I want to point out a couple things. The first thing is there are... Wow, I'm glad I did this now. There's only an hour left in the arena season. So the first thing is there's a season of bonus heroes in here. As you can see, wow, you can actually see the thing go. These heroes, you get extra points if you use them in your team. So just think of summoning zone rotations. It's like a select few group of monsters that you can use in your team to boost the effectiveness of your score that week. I think this is a really good idea because this sort of increases the viability of certain things. You might use a certain monster over another just because they're in this pool, and it makes it more fun, at least in my opinion. Also, there's in the top left here, there's a specific score. That's my score for the week. And what happens here is we also have defense results here. You get rewards depending on your defenses as well, as you can see there. So what happens, you hit battle here, and I'm going to have to refresh my wings because I battled already today. You hit battle. I have my team at the very top there. And I'm now faced against 3 separate teams. One is beginner, one is intermediate, and one advanced. And that means one person's lower ranking than me, one's the same, and one is higher. You can also see their names, which I would take out in Summoner's War. Names in this game don't really matter. You can't really tell people by names. But more importantly, you can't see their teams. And I'm already locked into my arena team right now. So, oops. So on the left here, you see one specific person from each of their team, which would be the equivalent to the Summoner's War leader skill. From there, you get a point system. See if I can circle it there. Those are the amount of points you can get per battle there, and depending on if you lose any monsters, your score goes down. So I think that was a really good addition because it really enforces trying to win without losing people too. And again, don't know if that can be incorporated in Summoner's War, but I just wanted to go over everything. So the long and the short of it is, you can only see one monster. You don't know what the rest of their team is. Like, if this guy down here is like a Lucian, for example, you don't know what he's paired with. It could be Lucian and 3 Rakans, for example, or 3 fire monsters. So you might think he's making a Lucian team that's really fast. So you want to bring somebody else that can outspeed him and maybe out-Lucian him, sort of thing. But little do you know, he's got 3 fire monsters behind him and you're screwed. So that gives a lot of mind games, that sort of thing, and it really increases the range of the amount of monsters you can use, which is so important. Anyways, that's really all I wanted to show in Fire Emblem. I don't want to go into the exact battle here, but those are some ideas from Fire Emblem that I really wanted to show. So yeah, like I said, those are the main 2 things I really think that should be changed, but the number one is obviously I don't think you should see who you're hitting. I don't think you should see their full team, and I don't think you should be able to skip people without any sort of penalty like that. And another example I had here written down is if you're in Summoner's War, for example, and you're using the Fire Emblem thing, you would hit Find Battle with your 4 team members, and you would have a list of 3 different ones. And say you want to hit the bottom one because that gives the most points, and he's got a Sierra lead. So usually with Sierra leads, they have a speed booster and they have a bunch of glass cannon sort of monsters. So you queued in with a speed lead too, and you're thinking about trying to outspeed him. Maybe you queued up with Sierra, Megan, Lucian or something like that. Or Sierra, Megan, Bernard, Lucian. So you know you can outspeed them, assuming your Bernard's faster. So you try to fight them, and it turns out they're using like Sierra, Rakan, Rina, Kumar, or something like that. And you cannot beat that team with that team. So yes, you're going to have a lot of auto loses almost, but that's a good thing. It's good to not be able to kill everything. It's good to lose. It's good for the game. You shouldn't go through arena with 400 AO wins for the week and not any loses. Like, that just is the main problem, I think. Anyway, I know this was a long video and I jumped back and forth. It's a really hard topic to really express myself on, but I think you get the gist of it. again, the general idea I have, in my opinion, is that Summoner's War needs to not be predictable. And by not being predictable, you can get rid of things like the speed meta. If you have everything predictable, of course the speed meta is going to be important, because like you can just outspeed everything and outkill everything. And I think any of these suggestions would really help. I'm sure there's better ones. Again, I'm just saying what I know. And not only would it fix it, but it would make it not stagnant. And right now it's stagnant. And I think it'll rotate what's used, just like in Seven Knights, just like in Fire Emblem. What's used currently is different than it was the last week, especially with stuff like the bonus heroes. So yeah, those are just my 2 cents on there. Thank you for listening. I appreciate all the likes, comments, subscribes, that sort of thing. I hope we get some sort of change to Arena soon, because I'm definitely tired of it. And most importantly, I want to use a bunch of different monsters. I don't want to use Lucian every single Arena week. I don't want to use him for everything. Like, I don't want to see a fire defense and still just Lucian him because Lucian's so good. And I don't want to have to build every single one of my defenses just because of Lucian. I want to be able to build things that work, build things that are fun. Like, I want to be able to use stuff like my Fang Yan on my defense. I want to use stuff like my Brandy on my defense. I just want to use stuff and not be pigeonholed, and I think this is a good way to go about it. So anyway, thanks again. See you guys next time. Have a great day.